Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John Chasing Majors. Hope you guys are enjoying this COMC video series, kind of an advanced tutorial to try and get your account set up to list or flip cards on COMC. We talked about buying strategies in the part 2 video. In today's video, we're going to talk about listing those cards for sale. We did get our first sale. It's been a couple of days since I recorded the part 1 and part 2. I haven't spent a ton of time really purchasing cards or making offers. I probably spent another 30 minutes or so trying to throw out a bunch of offers. And we're going to kind of navigate the dashboard. We'll get the cards listed. We'll look at the card that sold. We'll look at our offer page. And then in part 4, let me tell you what's coming in the future. Part 4, I'm actually going to be sharing with you guys a Google Sheets. In that Google Sheets, it'll be something you guys can download for free. It'll share all the different formulas to help you guys more quickly determine if you purchased a card at a specific dollar amount, what you would need to list that card for to make a certain percentage. So in that formula, it's a nice little tool. It's downloadable as long as you have Google Drive or access to Google or Google account. You can just download that and then save it in your Google Drive. Above me on that, the second spreadsheet of that workbook is a sales ledger, a purchasing and sales ledger. For anybody who's looking to actually turn this into a business, monitoring your sales, understanding what your purchase prices were and understanding what your sales were, you're going to need that sales ledger, specifically if you're looking to use this as a legitimate business and from a tax perspective. Trust me, your CPA or your tax preparers will be very, very grateful if you get that right kind of upfront. So we're going to talk about that in part 4, and then I've got some ideas for kind of a part 5, part 6, part 7 video, but that's coming in the future. All right, let's go ahead and get you guys over to today's video. All right, guys, so in today's video, we're going to be sharing listing cards for sale, and we've already received our first sale. It's been just a couple of days since I recorded video 1, video 2. I did list a couple of those cards or relist those cards for sale. So we have received our first sale. It's nothing huge, but we'll kind of talk through it. And then we will also list, I believe there's at least one card I need to get listed for sale. So let me jump over to the tab here. Okay, so coming over to the dashboard, let's just kind of start from the top, kind of set the table here. So currently I've got about $29 available to me to make offers on. There's about $53.80 of outstanding offers. We're going to click in there and look at that here in a moment. But if you've never sold cards on COMC, I just want to kind of walk through the dashboard a little bit. The offers and proposals, these are cards that I've received counter offers on. We may look at one of these real quick just to kind of walk you guys through that. My last sell, we did end up selling one card. A card I purchased for 50 cents, sold for essentially 95 cents. So not bad from a profit margin perspective. It's nothing earth-shattering, but between video 2 and me recording video 3, I probably spent about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of total time kind of shopping for cards. And that's been kind of chunked up in, 5-minute sections or 5-minute blocks. So we have purchased essentially 5 cards, the Chet Holmgren that sold, a Johnny Bench, a Nolan Ryan, a Ken Griffey Jr., and this Kenny Pickett. I will eventually be doing a video specifically talking about some methods and strategies, specifically buying and listing strategies related to vintage cards. That'll be a video probably not next video, maybe a couple of videos down the road. So if you guys are interested in specifically trying to purchase and list vintage cards, that may be a video that you guys want to watch out for. But as you guys can see, we've went ahead and we have effectively purchased 5 cards. It looks like I actually already have all these for sale. But let me share with you guys the steps that you would normally go through to relist that card for sale, and it's really super easy. Oftentimes you'll get a yellow bar right up top that says you have an action. Essentially, you have a card that you either need to submit for shipping or list that you're potentially going to ship that to yourself, because this store is a store that's only for reselling and flipping cards. I'll never be doing that action. And so then the other actions that you can do is relist the cards. Now, I rarely use the notification bar that pops up. I like to go through and click on the item number. Let's go ahead and take this Kenny Pickett and click on the item number. When you click on the items or the item numbers, you'll see the cards that you've purchased. And then if there were multiple cards listed on COMC, you would see a whole bunch of inventory here. On this Kenny Pickett, this is the only one of these that's currently for sale. So I picked up this card for $2.50. It was originally listed for $4. I made a $2 offer. The guy came back with a $3 counter. I made a $2.50 counter. He essentially accepted it. Now, I have looked on eBay, Terapeak sales. The most recent sales are right around $8 plus about a $4 or $5 shipping. So I've essentially made this an $8 card. So I've listed it for $7.75 plus the 25 cents. So anybody who has an account that's not set up as an advanced flipper or reseller, they're going to see a price point of $8. And so I've tried mirroring on this specific card what eBay is currently selling these cards at. And I think it's a fairly aggressive price. Plus, when I'm the only card, again, I have the monopoly on this card currently. When it's the only card, you kind of get to set your price, but you want to set your price somewhat realistic based upon other sales. And oftentimes I'll use eBay or Terapeak sales data. Terapeak is just the platform that provides sales data for eBay. So yeah, I'll kind of use both of those interchangeably. But I've just used essentially Terapeak data to help price this card. Let me actually come over to this Ken Griffey Jr. because I know there's quite a few of these, and I did not want to list that. We want to click on the item number. And as you guys can see, there's probably 10 of these that are for sale, roughly. If we come up and we click here, you'll be able to see how that looks from a normal port perspective, from a search perspective. Now, I have purchased this card in the past and resold it. So this is a card that I was comfortable purchasing. Ken Griffey Jr. collectors on COMC for certain types of cards are pretty active buyers. As you can see, there's 124 total sales over the last 4 years. That might not sound like a lot, but if I look at the last couple of quarters, you're seeing 9 sales, 10 sales, and this quarter 4 sales. So I'm currently listed it in the absolute rock bottom price. So if somebody was to come to buy this card, generally a 5-cent discount, they're probably going to buy my card over one of these other cards. Now, if they're going to be aggressive and make offers, I'm not sure what some of these offers abilities are, but if somebody just wants the card, generally they're going to come and, I'm in a pretty good position being the lowest price. For more modern cards, specifically cards from like 1990 and newer, and maybe even some of the late 80s cards, I always try to be in the bottom position if I can, meaning bottom priced position or the number 1 position. And so I feel like this is a pretty decent card. It might not sell in the next week, but I feel like over the next 15 to 30 days, this is a card that will probably end up moving just based upon the popularity of Ken Griffey Jr. But as you can see, there's multiple sellers. This gives you an idea of how you want to price your cards. I paid $2.45 at a $4 listing. Let me actually punch that in a different screen here. Use a little calculator. $2.45. If I sell it for $3.95, I'm essentially making 35%. It's 34.7%. So that includes taking out the fees, which I'd have about a 20-cent transactional fee at the time of the sale. So I'd still make about 34%, assuming that it sells for this full price. And I feel like I've got a pretty good opportunity to move that card. So let's come back and Vintage, again, I want to talk vintage on its own accord. I want to do a whole buying and listing strategy for that, so look out for that video. And then I mentioned in maybe the part 1 or part 2 video that I probably wasn't going to purchase any graded cards, but I did run across this card, and based upon recent sales, I think it's something that we can move fairly quick. I picked it up for 11 bucks. I've got it listed for, I think, 18. It's really competitive when you look at the PSAs. Now, this is a CGC graded 7.5. If you go look at like a PSA 7, I'm like 10, 15 bucks cheaper than the PSA 7. So it's pretty attractive as far as price point. And if you get somebody who's not married to PSA or SGC, that's a card I think that's going to move fairly decent. Again, looking at the last sale, we did get our first sale. It happens to be a Chet Holmgren. I know that we were looking at Chet Holmgren in the buying video, part 2 video. Not necessarily this card, but I did go back through and look at some Chet Holmgren cards, and found this one, found an opportunity to pick one up for 50 cents. Picked it up, and probably within less than 12 hours, this card sold. So pretty excited about that. I do want to quickly go over the offers and proposals. Let's just click on this card here. Looks like it's another one of these Ken Griffey Jr. cards. They have countered at $2.50, which is pretty aggressive. I think I still have an opportunity to make some money at $2.50. Let me look at what my previous offer was. It looks like I went at $2. Let me go back. And instead of accepting at $2.50, let's see if we can get it at $2.25. I'm going to send a counter offer. Again, I already purchased one of those cards, but I think that these cards, while they're not going to probably sell tomorrow, I think certain markets are much more popular. I think the Chet Holmgrens, the rookie quarterbacks, are going to sell much quicker. Something like these Ken Griffey Jr.'s, I think, might sit in the store for 14, 21, 30 days. But eventually, I think I'll be able to make that 30, 40%. And I like to have a fairly I can't say it. I like to have a broad store as far as what I have listed in the store. So long story short, you might want to be very focused on just vintage. You might want to be very focused on just modern. You might want to be very focused on this sport or that sport. It's completely up to you guys, how you guys want to run your store. I'm going to give you guys some tips and nuggets along the way of things that have worked for me. And then you guys can hopefully try and make a play off of some of the suggestions that I provided. So we went ahead and made a counter offer there. Let's come back to the dashboard. The other thing I want to quickly just show you guys, I'm clicking on the offers. And I just want to show you guys just how this looks. Look at all these offers that have been made. And again, a lot of counter offers. Most of the rejects have probably come on my side, meaning I've made an offer at a price point where maybe a counter offer slightly above what my original offers were. And there were still opportunities to make money. But I'd say on most of these, the current sellers of those cards made a counter offer that was just at a price point that I wasn't comfortable with. And so I end up rejecting it. So I would say probably 75+% of the rejects that you're going to see through here are rejects from my side. Just I didn't think that there was enough wiggle room between me and the sellers to maybe negotiate at a price point where I could make some money on the cards. So I still have a couple of outstandings. I'm going to let those ride. At some point, I do often go back through, and any outstanding offers that have been 2-3 days old, I'll oftentimes just cancel them so that way I can move that money in future offers. I'm going to go ahead and let these ones ride just because we're still trying to build out the base of the store. But you're going to see quite a few. It looks like there's 2 that are waiting on me. So these are saying that they're waiting on me. So back on the dashboard, these would be those 2 other counter offers that I need to make a decision on what I want to do with those. If I want to accept those, make another counter. Again, lots of counters and rejects, but anything that's showing open, that's active offers that I still have out on cards. Of course, if you wanted to see what those cards were, you could simply click on the card. Here's a Jason Kidd Finest rookie card that I made an offer on. This is a card that I've owned in my other store quite a bit, and roughly at $5, $5.50, $6. This card sells on a regular basis. I like Some of these cards, I try and ensure that they have the protective coating. Those ones typically sell a little bit better. But again, Hall of Famer. Plus, if you look at the NBA Hall of Fame registry checklist that is on PSA specifically, you'll see that this is the card that most collectors use for that specific registry. So you'll see registry cards sell a little bit better than non-registry cards. That's one tip and trick that you guys can look at. And so that's why I'm making an offer on this card. Is I think that at $3.88, there's a little bit of wiggle room. I can be a little bit more competitive based upon what the lowest price card is, and still, be in the hunt to try and move that card fairly quickly. All right, we're probably getting really close to the 10-minute mark. We're just slightly over the 10-minute mark at this point in time. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. I'm going to continue to make a few more offers to try and build out the store. I do have a couple of ideas for a part 4 video and a part 5 video. Again, I want to talk about some vintage because I do treat vintage just a little bit different. So whether that's the next video or a part 5 video, I'll make some determinations what I want to do. Part 4, there's some other purchase and buying strategies that I want to share with you guys. And so, we're going to continuously talk through all sorts of different strategies that hopefully can make your store fairly competitive fairly quick. So if you guys are liking this video series, as always, click the like, click the subscribe, leave comments if you have any comments. Leave comments. I'll try and address any and all comments that are posted. And let's just wrap it up here, guys. As always, chat with you guys in the next one.